Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Amber, and welcome to my beautiful home in Atlanta, Georgia. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Be sure to visit our website, homeworthy.com, to discover amazing furniture, art, accessories, and more, all handpicked by our editors to help transform your house into a home. All of the items are inspired by the episodes you see here on Homeworthy. Enjoy!
My name is Amber Guyton, and we are in my home in Atlanta, Georgia. I have lived in Atlanta before in 2010 to 2015, and then I moved to Texas and then to California. And during the pandemic, I was working full-time in tech at the time, and everyone basically said you could live anywhere. So I decided to move back to Atlanta. Cheaper cost of living, cheaper housing, obviously. And this house was built in 2020. I closed in February of 2021. It's a brand new construction home, but it's a bungalow. It was built to look like a lot of the smaller bungalows in this historic neighborhood of Adair Park. So I was thrilled to have a little bit of the best of both worlds, to have a bungalow that's brand new and easy to just move in, turnkey. All I had to do was decorate versus moving into something that looks too cookie cutter. It still has the character that the neighborhood has in all of the homes. So I have been in this home about 2.5 years, and I've personalized it with color, texture, pattern, and just my colorful aesthetic that I have as an interior designer. So this is my living room. My house, when you walk in, there is no grand foyer or entryway, but I do have some hooks on the door to hang your jacket, your bag, etc. And then you walk in and you're immediately greeted by the living room. So I have enough seating for just myself and my dog, but ample seating if I have some friends or family over. This is the only TV in my home. I'm not a big TV person. I'll watch TV. A lot of times it's just on for noise, but I love the Samsung frame because you could turn it into art when it's not on, just play some music. It's beautiful. It's flush to the wall, and it takes your attention off of the electronics, and you kind of just are enveloped by everything in the space. So the first thing I did when I moved in the house, as I mentioned, is painting. So because the ceilings, the lofted ceilings in here are kind of high, I just went about 5 feet up all the way around, just so the space wouldn't feel too dark, but also still have enough color. You can see that I added plantation shutters and drapery to the windows, so I still get a lot of good light, but it's a great way to kind of adjust how much light, natural light gets in the space. And then the curtains, I just love putting curtains up, even if they're not functional. They just kind of frame the window and add a little character to the window frame. So my coffee table, I love. It's called the art display coffee table because the surface is glass, so you could fill the bottom with coffee table books or anything that you wish to be seen. I've got a ton of coffee table books filled with interiors and Black artists and all the things. I always have some magazines on top for casual reading, and then this tray is filled with things like sage and fresh flowers, candles, just things to kind of set the mood in my living space. And I like that it's wide enough that if I do have some friends over and we're playing cards, or we have like a charcuterie board and wine, like it's more than enough space for us to fill the surface with. This is my roommate, Ralph. I've had him, I adopted Ralph when he was 6 weeks old, and now he's 15. He'll be 15 in December. So he's my buddy, he's my roommate. It's his house. I just pay the bills. His meal plan and the mortgage, you know, that's my responsibility, but he keeps me company. He's living here rent free, yes. He's here. He gives comfort and hugs and a lot of love. So he's my bestie. I definitely want my home to feel cozy. I love to just cuddle up on this chase part of my sofa, put my feet up, and I've got a lot of blankets and pillows to help supply some of that comfort. So like my best friend that lives in Dallas, whenever she visits, we're just on this couch binge watching something and covered with blankets. Even Ralph, this is his usual spot, on a blanket on the couch. So when you walk into my home, there's no like mud room or place to drop things off, take your shoes off, etc. So one thing that I added was this coat rack. So I hang my purse, my jacket, hat, whatever, and then if I'm walking Ralph, I'll keep his leash and some of his items in here. I also have a huge candle collection. I'm a bit of a candle hoarder, so that's what takes up most of this. And then also in my media cabinet, I've got some storage here. So it's a small space, but I was able to bring in different furniture items and decor that will serve a purpose and be functional, since I lack that entryway that a lot of traditional homes have. So when I purchased the home, the day I closed, the only thing that was colorful in this house, well, outside of this house, was the exterior. The inside was all beige, taupe, brown, not my style. So the first thing I did was add paint and wallpaper to several of the walls. I updated a lot of the lighting. A lot of it was like oil rub bronze, and I love brass. I love matte black. So I swapped out a lot of the fixtures and the lighting. And then probably the biggest change that I did was I painted the kitchen cabinets. The kitchen was originally all dark brown wood, and it's a small kitchen, so it already felt a little dark, but I wanted to give it some interest, some excitement, so I painted my cabinets in the island green, and I think it is the perfect pop of color when you look in the house. When you walk in, it immediately grabs your attention. So now that you've seen the living room, let's go a little further into the house and see the dining room and kitchen. So this is my dining room, my dining space, open concept home. So all of these spaces, the living, dining, and kitchen, are connected. Because of that, I really didn't want to do like a long rectangle traditional dining table. I wanted to do something kind of funky and fun. I love this dining table. It's round. It's probably could fill about 8 people around it. Even though it's just me, I have a couple of chairs here, but my favorite thing about this table is probably the base of it. It's just a work of art, and I think that no matter how many times I move, like, this table is definitely going to come with me. I'm just obsessed with it, and so it kind of influences community and fellowship, and there's just something about a round table that just makes you want to gather around. So when I have my friends over, my family, my niece and nephews, this is where we eat, this is where we laugh, play games, etc. And then I added a very large wall mirror here. I think it helps with some of the lack of light. It kind of, anytime you want to make a home feel brighter or add some light to a space, definitely consider a mirror. So this mirror, as I'm walking out the door, I kind of stop and check out my outfit, do a quick fit check, and it's a great addition to the space, and it's like the perfect wall size for such a large mirror. I love it. I did update the lighting throughout. The only light that I probably didn't update in this house was the ceiling fan in the living room. I added this cool, fun Sputnik light here. The light that was here before was a little lower, and it was kind of like a drum chandelier. Wasn't a fan. So I added this new light that just adds a little more character and illuminates the entire space, not just the dining room. The other thing I loved about this home, even though it was new construction, they did take some time to do some built-ins here. So I have a built-in doggy home underneath the stairs, which is a great use of space. However, Ralph does not go in here. So it just houses his toys. And then this built-in bookshelf, I have several of my books here. The rest of my books in my home are primarily in my office and bedroom. But it's a great styled moment where I have some of my books, can display some color, and it just feels good, feels like home. When you have an open concept home, a lot of times it could feel like an endless runway of space, and you don't really know how to create division. And so a quick tip that I would say, you can anchor spaces with rugs. So my living space has like this shag rug moment. It's colorful, and it kind of boxes out like here is the living space. The dining space has like this faux hide rug under the table. And then the table itself is such a statement piece. It kind of anchors like, okay, this is where the dining space is. So I would say it's easy to create zones in large spaces by putting rugs down, having foundational furniture. And then sometimes, I mean, you can even create like an accent wall or a gallery wall, something that kind of defines like, okay, here's the next space in this collection of spaces. So those are a couple of tips on how to create that separation. I have always been a creative. I've always loved to color and draw and redecorate my room and beg my mom to paint it 10 different times as a child. And then once I went to college, I decided, I also love to write. So I started off as a print journalism major, thought I would be writing for a newspaper, magazine, and then decided to be an advertising major because I loved marketing, I loved commercials, I loved branding. And so my career started off with that, sold advertising, and then once I got my MBA in 2014, started working in marketing for different companies, primarily in financial services and then in tech. So booming career, if you will, but there was always that underlying inkling of wanting to have a creative outlet. So Blessed Little Bungalow, my company and brand, started as a blog in 2016 when I lived in Texas. I was working in corporate. I bought a house in San Antonio, and it was a bungalow built in 1946 or 1948, and it was completely renovated. And once I closed, I moved in that same day and decorated the entire space in a week. 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, the entire place, and the back deck. So when I had friends and family come visit, they were just like, what? Like, because they were expecting to come and help me unload boxes and unpack. And my mom looked at me and she said, well, Amber, when are you going to do this for real? And that just ignited something in me to say, okay, well, if this isn't going to be my career, because obviously I've worked hard to get to where I am, at least allow it to be a hobby and an opportunity for me to write and share design tips and my love for making things feel beautiful, but while remaining affordable. And so Blessed Little Bungalow was born in 2016, started as a blog and slowly became a side hustle. And then 5 years later, I decided to go full-time, and now I'm a full-time interior designer, content creator, all the things. So it's been quite a journey, and I feel like I'm just getting started. It's really exciting. Entrepreneurial life is not as fun as I thought it would be. You know, you're your boss, and you realize quickly, like, oh, I'm a bad boss. I need to set boundaries. I need to do better with customer service. I need to outsource things and hire people, and but I'm learning so much about myself, and it's exciting to be able to use the gifts that I've kind of abandon and see how that brings so much joy to people, whether that's on Instagram or my clients' homes. It's been a really fun ride. So now that you've seen the dining room, let's go into the kitchen. The kitchen was my least favorite space in the house when I bought it because it was so brown. It was just brown and dark and not a place that I wanted to spend time. It also is limited in size, so as you can see, I just have one wall of cabinets. A lot of the appliances take up that space. There's limited surface space for toasters and meal prep and etc. But I do have this huge island, which I'm grateful for. So what I decided to do first things first was update the cabinetry. So I painted all of the cabinets and the island green. I swapped out the hardware because before it was just oil rubbed bronze. So these fun hexagon handles, they just brought a little shine and glamour to the space. Growing up in the South, this is something that's kind of nostalgic for me to see hanging on the walls. Like my mom and grandma, they had several breadboards and cutting boards that were more so for utility use, but it was nothing to actually hang things on the wall and then just pull it off when they needed it, when they were preparing dinner or baking pies or whatever. So it's just a nice southern country touch in my city kitchen. I also updated the pendant lights. These pendant lights are kind of nostalgic. They remind me of like Waffle House or a diner. And the ones that were here before were just very small. So I wanted to go with something that made more of a statement. So I love these globes. I love the milk color. And whether they're on or off, they just make a statement in the space. I feel like pendants, especially in an island kitchen, they're just kind of like the earrings to go with the dress. So these are my kitchen earrings. Then when you walk over here, this is probably the last thing I did in this space was add this beautiful wall mural. So it looks like wallpaper, but it is not. Michelle Key, she's an amazing artist. She does a lot of wall murals and outdoor art in the city of Atlanta, and so I brought her in to paint this botanical fusion of all my favorite plants. So we have the monstera, we have some palms and birds of paradise, snake plants. I just wanted to create something here that gave me something to look at while I'm in the kitchen. But also, this was just such a blank space. I had a gallery wall here before, but it just didn't feel like it was doing enough. So this is probably my favorite space in the house because a kitchen should really feel like the heart of the home, and this is definitely now a space that I would spend time in. Another thing that I wanted to do in this kitchen, because of the lack of storage, was bring in a statement furniture piece. So this cabinet, I kind of made it into like a beverage, cookbook, wine cellar, if you will. And then I also have storage here for some of my seasonal tableware and things that I don't necessarily use that often, more so for entertaining. So a couple of things in here that I love. I know I shared that I love brass. I love all things gold. So champagne flutes with just a little gold foil on them. Very cute, things I like. Ice bucket, more glasses here, stemless. And then when I have summertime fun cocktails out on the back porch or whatever, I have some colorful plastic glassware that's tucked away in here too. So things I might not necessarily use every day, but they're pretty enough to display year round. So I love this piece. It's beautiful. Again, a black element in the home that just adds a little character. And then Ralph, this is his little station over here where he eats and drinks, as you can see. And then another thing I love that I brought into the kitchen is this runner. I had a different one in here before, Moroccan runner, that was a little too wide. And then this one, it just is a perfect combination of the marigold and fuchsia and mauve that you see throughout the home, but definitely in the kitchen. So it just adds a little warmth to your feet as you're making your coffee or cooking dinner. As far as colors go, when I was young, my favorite color as a child was lavender. I love all shades of purple. And I kind of abandoned it in, like, I guess my teenage years and early 20s, but then back in when I turned 30 again, I'm almost 40, but I just started to fall in love with it again. And not necessarily like Barney purple grape, or, you know, it's like mauve and lavender and blush and just different variations of it. So as soon as you walk in my home, you see a lot of that in the living room. I have like this Merlot color, moody, that's in the living room and wraps to the dining space. And then I have little touches of lavender and blush and mauve throughout. And I'd say another element that you see in my home is like this foundation of black. Black is a color I feel like should be in every space. I'm not so much the black and white furniture showroom sterile look, but I feel like black has a nice it's a good addition to any space because it kind of grounds it, and it gives it a nice contrast no matter what color you choose in a room. My personal style is, think of a Crayola box. I like to mix different colors. I like things to feel unexpected, but still all kind of flow together. Nothing too overwhelming. I'd say I'm more of a maximalist, but I'm a maximalist that likes things to make sense. I don't want it to feel too cluttered or over the top. Everything has a purpose. Everything's intentional. And as far as design style, in addition to loving color, texture, and pattern, I'd say I'm like mid-century modern meets glam. Just, you know, there's enough shiny things in the room to get you excited, but nothing so over the top that the home is not livable. So in my clients' design projects that I have a lot of those elements, but in my home, I can really like go for it. There are no guardrails. And so I just want my home to look like me and feel good, feel safe. And that's why it's my sanctuary. So now that you've seen my kitchen, let's go a little deeper into the house. The rear of the home is my mudroom, laundry space, and primary bedroom. As soon as you walk into my mudroom and laundry area, you are immediately greeted by this sun shining gold taupe, beautiful wallpaper. It's very graphic, it's very in your face, but it's nostalgic for me because my grandparents' home, both sets of grandparents, they had a very graphic wallpaper in their mudroom, in the laundry room, in the breakfast nook. And so usually it was like fruit or I don't know, something random, but I just love these suns. They just, I don't know, they just make me happy, and just like the sunshine. And so I decided to go big or go home in this laundry space by bringing this wallpaper in. None of this was here before. I decided to, once I knew I was going to do a side-by-side washer dryer, I had this butcher block I purchased, and then these cabinets, and I had them put in and painted them the same color as the green in the kitchen. Added some artwork, so I have ample space to fold clothes and avoid laundry up here on the surface. And then I have some storage below and then above, and then I can hang things as needed for when I'm drying laundry and so on. So there isn't a lot of art in this space compared to the rest of the house. I have a little art here, but what I decided was to make art out of these plans for the house that I found in the pantry when I moved in. They were left by I guess the contracting team, the builder, and so I thought, you know, why not hold on to them, even though it's a brand new house. It's something that is dated and something that I felt like needed a spot in the home. So I framed them, and they're here in the living room, laundry room. My previous career and schooling and experience has definitely played a role in the success of Blessed Little Bungalow. I think a lot of interior designers hate social media and they don't like the marketing aspect, getting in front of the camera, even maybe some of the writing and the press. And because I have schooling in journalism and have worked in marketing, it comes a little more natural to me. I think also it's important to know your brand, like know your niche, and just stay in your own lane. And I think coming into interior design, there was a lot of imposter syndrome because I'm just like, oh, well, I didn't go to school for this, and I'm just kind of figuring things out and designing to my own taste, but there's so much to learn and so much to explore. But because of that, I have been true to who I am and what lane I'm in interior design and decorating and styling. And I also just try to be as authentic and transparent as possible. Like, there are so many talented interior designers out here, and I can only be me, right? I can only decorate and style and do things to my own taste and through my own perspective. And I think that attracts a lot of people to follow me and to see the transformations I do in my home and my clients' homes, because I do my best to make things feel approachable. And interior design should not just be, I mean, it is a luxury, but it shouldn't just be a luxury that's available to the few. It should be something that anyone can have in their home. And so you see that $8,000 sofa in someone's house on Instagram. Here's a $3,500 dupe that is just as comfortable, that you can afford, that's probably better better for your budget. So I try to think those things through, and I think that a lot of people love that. And so I'm pulling things out of my old file cabinets every day to thrive as a business owner. Now that you've seen the laundry room and mud room, let's see the rest of the rear of the house, which is my primary suite. So this is my primary suite bedroom. One thing that I love and find constant inspiration from are boutique hotels. And so, nothing feels cookie cutter or too plain Jane. A lot of color, a lot of layered patterns and textures. This is not a very large bedroom to be a primary bedroom, but I wanted to make it feel cozy. I wanted it to feel just like a space that I could come into and immediately feel like I want to rest and close my eyes, and it's just a good space. And I think for it to be a quote unquote smaller bedroom, I didn't hesitate painting the walls a dark color because I wanted it to feel moody. I wanted it to feel like a place to truly wind down. But true to my own design style, I also wanted it to have some pops of color. So the ceiling was white and plain, and there was a ceiling fan, and I decided to wallpaper the ceiling after I painted the walls, and then also add a really cool funky chandelier that would add an element of glam to the space, but not be overbearing. And so the room just feels very good, and the bed, king size, takes up most of the space, but really all I do in here is rest. So I just needed enough room for my bed, and everything else, all the other elements were just supplementary. So the bed, I love the shape of it. I love how it just feels like ornate and Victorian, and I love the chartreuse color. I layered the bed with comfortable bedding. As you can see, this lumbar pillow matches the ceiling wallpaper, which is a fun touch. I told you about how my favorite color or shades of colors are purple. So there's a lot of elements of purple, from the juju hat to the linen blackout curtains, some of the artwork that's layered on the floor. This art piece has some gold leaf in it. And so there's just a little touches of glam and gold everywhere. But it's just a beautiful place to relax, and I love my bedroom a lot. I know I said the kitchen was my favorite room, but this might be the favorite. So my bathroom isn't as clean and perfect as the bedroom. However, it's functional. It's a great space. I carried the wallpaper from the ceiling into this wall. So this is a bit of an accent wall for the vanity. The the sink was already here, but I replaced the mirror with just one large one. Before there were two individual ones, and I felt like it made the space feel bigger, and I don't know, just a better touch with this brass mirror. These lights were already here, so I didn't change that, but I did paint the bathroom the same blue as well. And then as you walk in, you can see I have toilet space, walk-in shower, and then this is one of my closets, which I recently painted this. It's called Koi Pond, this beautiful green. And this is where a lot of my casual clothes are. I'm a very casual girl with the baseball caps and Jordan sneakers and t-shirts and hoodies. But it's a pretty place to get ready. And I have another mirror in here. There's probably a mirror in every room of my house now that I think about it, even this closet. The thing I love most about my home is that no matter what's going on in the world, because the world can get very crazy and scary and discouraging and exhausting, I can come home and just feel safe. I feel relaxed, like immediately when I walk in the door, the weight is lifted off of my shoulders. I feel at peace. I feel like it is my own little sanctuary in Atlanta, Georgia, and in the world. I love how my home makes other people feel too. They walk in and they're just kind of they're surprised, but they're also like, I guess there's just a lot of eye candy, and and the colors like make people happy, but doesn't overwhelm them. And so I love to host. I love to invite people over and have them stay with me. The other thing I love about my home is that it's not overwhelming in color and things and furniture, but it's also not very overwhelming in size. Like, I named my business Blessed Little Bungalow because I love bungalows. I love how small they are, but still have a lot of character. And so this house is probably only about 1,800 square feet max. With the loft, I think downstairs is just about 1,400 or 1,500, and it's just enough. It feels good. It feels comfortable. It's intimate, but there's still enough space for all the things I need to do in my home, people that visit and stay over. It just feels good, and that's the most important thing to me for my clients and for myself. Like, how does this space make you feel? Does it give you an emotional reaction? Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel better about yourself? Does it make you smile? And so that is definitely how my home makes me feel. As a small business owner, I do work from home a great deal. So let's take a look at my home office. So my brother-in-law calls this the Pepto-Bismol room because it's like that Pepto-Bismol pink. And he walked in and he was just like, okay, wow, you took it there. But I love the color. I think it's very inspiring. Pink is one of my favorite colors. But there's no lack of anything to look at in here. So it's the smallest of all the bedrooms in the house. So I chose it for my home office. It also gets a lot of natural light in here. So it's a great place to actually work and feel inspired. I have a lot of artwork here on this wall, around the closet, and then I put these shelves in to house everything I need for my business. So I've got paint samples, wallpaper, catalogs, tile, things along the bottom here. I've got more books, a lot of books from my previous careers, but also several design books that provide inspiration. My trademark for my business and logo, some of my accomplishments over here, magazines I've been in, and features I've gotten in the press. And then for functional purposes over here, I also have a lot of client post-its to kind of keep me organized and knowing what projects I have coming up, and things to keep me organized, along with different samples. So yeah, I come in here and I get inspired. Everything from looking at different rugs and matching them up to different paint colors. It's a place where I work and create. Right outside of my home office are the guest bedroom and bathroom. In the bathroom, the purple tour continues. So I have like this fun plumish mauve lavender on the walls. One thing I love to do, because sometimes shower curtains just aren't as cute as regular curtains. So I have this curtain, and then I added a liner behind it, and then hung the curtain rod from the ceiling. So it just makes the small bathroom feel a little larger. And then adding some artwork, fresh flowers, and more gold elements like this mirror, and even this bath tray. It just makes it feel more warm and at home. This is my guest bedroom, aka the Crayola box of the house. I just wanted to go wild with the color in here. The first thing I did, because all of the walls were beige, was add this cool textured accent wall. I love the color teal. It's one of my favorite colors too. So we painted that, and then this bed is actually from My previous, I had a apartment in San Francisco. I love the bed. I love the channeling of it. And so I wanted to keep it in here because it's still neutral and low profile, but it looks great against this wall. Then we added some color and geometric shapes with this area rug. I have a lot of artwork throughout the house. So here's another gallery wall over this table. So like, for example, if I have a friend that comes over, stays for a week and they need to work from home too, they can just pull out this ottoman and use this as a makeshift desk. They also have a little seating area over here. This lounge chair is super comfortable. So they have their own little living space, wardrobe areas to get ready and hang out. And it's just a place full of color and inspiration. And I think that when my guests come to visit, they are surprised but excited by the space. And again, that it has that boutique hotel feel that just feels comfortable and livable. The word home means love. It's a space that you know you are guaranteed to feel loved, you're guaranteed to feel safe, and I couldn't feel more comfortable in any place than the home that I've created here. I can go back to the home that I grew up in, even my grandparents' home that lived next door to me. And when you walk in, even if the contents of the home aren't even there, there's an immediate reaction that you have, and so just that feeling of safety and love and purpose and belonging, your home should make you feel that way, and that's what home means to me.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.